Boxing Doc. Boxing family, long time no see. I hope you didn't miss me too much. I've been a bit busy, to say the least, but I found some time to squeeze in this video. So without further ado, let's get it in. What went wrong for Kovalev in this Kovalev-Ward fight part 2? So before I even break it down and diagnose what happened with Kovalev, again, this is my opinion, my perspective. I wanted to preface all my statements by going over my breakdown for the actual fight, how I scored it on a round-by-round basis. These first 6 rounds were super close. Super close. I think both guys were doing great work in there. It was a nice tit-for-tat battle. So I did say in one of my previous videos that I couldn't find a round to give to Kovalev. But of course, that was in my excitement of Ward winning the fight. So clearly I wasn't being objective there. And of course, I've always said this as well in the past, that watching a fight and not scoring it leads to a conclusion based on perception. And so the perception was that Kovalev was having a really tough time in there, and he wasn't doing what he wanted to do with Ward, and Ward was actually muscling him around and being the man in there. And so based off that perception, I was quick to say that I couldn't give a round to Kovalev. But actually watching the fight over a few times, I've come to a conclusion based on analysis, a conclusion based on watching the rounds and scoring. And so for me, I had before the stoppage, I had the fight a draw. I had it 3 rounds to 3, 1 even. I gave the first round to Ward, I gave the 4th round to Ward, and I gave the 7th round to Ward. And I gave rounds 2, rounds 3, and rounds 6 to Kovalev. Rounds 5 to Kovalev, and I had round 6 being a draw between the two men. It was a great close fight, and I think Ward really came out and was landing big shots in this fight, as opposed to the first fight, where he was predominantly using his lead hand to really get off his offense. I felt like in this second fight he really brought in the right hand. He brought that into play, and of course that was evidenced by that hell of a right hand we saw in the 8th round that pretty much sealed the deal for Ward in terms of the win. But yeah, he was more of a two-handed fighter in this fight, and I felt like that really made a difference in terms of backing up Kovalev, in terms of getting Kovalev's attention and perhaps Kovalev's respect. I feel like Ward came in, obviously, with the better adjustments. Like I said, he was more aggressive. He was using angles a lot more, exit angles. For example, he would throw that right hand, tag Kovalev, and come out at a 90-degree angle to where he was. So he wasn't as stationary of a target as he was in the first fight, and I feel like that really paid dividends for him. Kovalev didn't make any adjustments really for this fight, to me, and I'm not sure why he didn't. And this could be the case when you believe you've won a fight and you believe there's nothing more to do, because you believe you've won the fight and you know the fighter, and that fighter that you fought had to do everything in his power to stay in the fight and claw out a win against you the first time. What's he going to do the second time? And so there's a tendency to become complacent, not from a will standpoint, but more so from a strategy standpoint. He didn't really analyze the fight. That's what it looked like to me. The one adjustment he did make, though, or something that was different in comparison to the first fight, was his jab. He threw a lot more jabs, I felt like, and I think the CompuBox stats show this. He actually ended up outlanding Ward in jabs, which wasn't the case in the first fight. I think he may have outthrew Ward in jabs, but he didn't outland him. Ward landed more jabs in the first fight. It was the opposite in this fight. Kovalev was landing that jab, and he was doing so very well, and he threw a lot more of them. So that's one thing that I saw that was different from the first fight. But it was, I think Ward caught on to it very quickly. It didn't seem to trouble Ward too much. It was giving Ward trouble a lot early on in the fight. I would say the first 3-4 rounds, but Ward was able to remain steadfast and resolute on his game plan, and eventually, because Kovalev started doing the same thing and it was getting repetitive, Ward started slipping those punches. You know, Kovalev would throw a 1-1-2 and Ward would slip all of those punches, all in the mid-range. Kovalev was not mixing it up. I think what really may have been the problem for Kovalev, and this is my diagnosis, is that he engaged in battle on the inside. I don't know why. I'm not sure why he would try to do this. It didn't make any sense to me. He should have known that his conditioning wouldn't allow for such a game plan. He should have understood what happened in the first fight and not have been deluded. Like Ward said, your conditioning is not going to change drastically in the span of 8 months. Doesn't matter what you do. Bringing in a biathlon coach, the conditioning is something that takes years. And those years are stacked upon natural and genetic propensities for conditioning. Kovalev does not have that. That's not his gift. He's never had to exercise it as well because he stops his opponents within 3, 4, 5 rounds, 6 rounds. He's never had to go into the latter half of a fight frequently enough in order for him to train that aspect. And even if he did, he wouldn't be the conditioning beast that Ward was. So I found it rather strange that he actually entertained Ward on the inside and tried to do battle with him. That was zapping his own strength. That was zapping his own energy. He was doing good body work too. I think that's missed out a lot. It's I guess muddied up by the conclusion of the fight and Ward's dominance. But Kovalev was actually doing some good body work as well. He was trying to throw shots to the body, but I felt like that wasn't his game because that was going to get him tired. Kovalev should have played it safe on the outside, and it was working. He was landing his jab, and even though it was becoming predictable, he was doing much better out there than he was on the inside. If he had just stayed out there and whenever Ward tried to come in and clinch and do inside work, if Kovalev had made the conscious decision to take a few steps back whenever Ward's coming in, or pivot out at an angle, I think he would have fared much better in this fight. He wouldn't have been as tired. He wouldn't have opened himself up to a vicious body attack by Ward. What he claims was low, or what his fans claim were low, I believe those punches wouldn't have landed or been a problem for him had he boxed on the outside. But instead he decided to fight with Ward on the inside, and I think ultimately that was his demise. That's my diagnosis for this fight. He should have stayed on the outside. He shouldn't have entertained Ward on the inside. Now Kovalev is rumored to be in talks with Virgil Hunter or Andre Ward's team in terms of training with them. I find that pretty funny, pretty ironic. A team that he detested, he's now open to possibly working with them. That is definitely sweet irony again. And yeah, that's how I saw the fight, guys. I want to know how you guys saw the fight. Did you guys see it a draw up until that point? Did you guys see Ward dominating? Did you see Kovalev dominating? Again, I had it 3-3, 1 round even before the stoppage. I could see 4-2 for Kovalev. A lot of people gave Kovalev the first round. And actually, Kovalev came out pretty aggressive. He was throwing a hard right hand to the body. He didn't come out aggressive in the "I want to end his boxing career" aggressive way, but he came out throwing a hard jab and also trying to land a hard right hand to the body. So he was boxing at his normal length, at his normal range, and it was something that I think could have been done more to help him stay longer in this fight. Unfortunately, he entertained war on the inside, and ultimately that was his demise. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. What did you guys have it? What was their score up until the stoppage? Do you think Kovalev comes back the same from this loss? And do you think Kovalev can ever improve his conditioning? If Kovalev does go over to Virgil Hunter and receives training, what's he going to look like? Will he be a different Kovalev? Will he be a better inside fighter? Is he going to be a devastating body puncher like Virgil Hunter is saying he could make him out to be? Leave your comments in the section below. Again, sorry for the hiatus. I'm going to try to keep these videos a little bit more frequently coming. I am very busy though, so I apologize if I can't make good on that promise. But I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Boxing family, it's the Boxing Doc signing off.